Previously on X-Men.
We've got some new developments tonight involving yet another twist in this ongoing YSL RICO case. We're talking about a Fulton County Sheriff's deputy arrested earlier today and accused of trying to smuggle contraband to a defendant in the case. This deputy, Akiba Stanley, in this mugshot here, in the past hour, the Fulton County Sheriff announced she has been fired. And we have learned she was previously fired from the Atlanta Police Department when an investigation found she was unfit to serve as an officer. 11 Alive's Latasha Givens joining us now live in studio tonight. And in the past few hours, we received the arrest warrant for Stanley. So, Latasha, what is going on here?
Well, there's a lot to unpack, Jennifer. The deputy is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with Christian Eppinger by communicating with him on Instagram, visiting his cell, and trying to smuggle items to him. Now, you may recall Eppinger is accused of shooting an Atlanta police officer last year. He remains behind bars tonight, and the deputy is too. Akiba Stanley took an oath to serve and protect, but officials say her track record as an officer is now criminal. Her arrest warrants detail her having an inappropriate relationship with an inmate, visiting his cell, communicating with an inmate through Instagram, and trying to smuggle contraband to Christian Eppinger from one of his relatives. Eppinger is accused of shooting a veteran Atlanta police officer several times last year while he was being taken into custody. He's also a defendant in the YSL RICO case awaiting trial. Stanley's charges include violation of oath of office, reckless conduct, and conspiracy to commit a felony. But this isn't the first time her conduct as an officer has been questioned. According to state records, Stanley started working for the Atlanta Police Department back in 2016. But during a 30-day period, she received several complaints. Some are outlined in this investigation obtained by 11 Alive. It states her actions during traffic stops made her unfit to be an officer. The investigation also found other officers complained about her behavior. She was terminated from APD back in 2018. Post-certification records also show Stanley was ordered to complete a 6-month ethics and professionalism course at her own expense back in 2020. She then began working at the Fulton County Sheriff's Office last October. And in a statement late this afternoon, the Fulton County Sheriff announced Stanley has in fact been fired, and he calls her actions reckless and put the lives of others in danger. Faith?
Latasha, thank you so much for bringing us that report.
Now, I know what y'all thinking, Sadie Nash. Why is that important? Well, them raggedy behavior ass activities got the last judge we just had booted off the case. Let's do it.
On or about June 1st, 2023, Christian Eppinger, one of 18 defendants, was severed from the ongoing YSL RICO trial on the criminal action that was recently transferred to this court by random assignment. Although there is no severance order in the record, the court was apprised of the circumstances that directly led to Eppinger's severance. More specifically, the deputy assigned to and responsible for the courtroom and personal security of the undersigned for nearly 6 months was arrested. Said deputy, who was still assigned to this court at the time of her arrest, is accused of 1, colluding with defendant Christian Eppinger during the current trial to commit a felony, and 2, endangering the safety of citizens within the Fulton County Courthouse. Because this court's former assigned deputy could be called as a witness in any future proceedings in this case, the court may be called upon to assess this deputy's credibility or rule on matters related to a criminal prosecution. This may undermine the public's confidence in the impartiality of the proceedings. While the court does not regard the aforementioned situation as creating any actual bias for or against any party to this case, the court does view this as a matter that could cause a reasonable person to question the court's impartiality and reasonably give rise to the appearance of impropriety should the court remain on this case. Rule 2.11 of the Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct, CJC, provides that judges shall disqualify themselves in any proceedings in which their impartiality might reasonably be questioned. Comment 2 to that rule provides that judges should disclose on the record or in open court information that the court believes the parties or their lawyers might consider relevant to the question of disqualification, even if they believe there is no legal basis for disqualification. Thus, after careful consideration, and consistent with CJC Rule 1.2a, promoting public confidence in the independence and impartiality of the judiciary, and CJC Rule 2.11a, requiring disqualification when the public might reasonably question a judge's impartiality, the undersigned hereby recuses herself from the criminal action. The clerk of court is directed to reassign this criminal action to another judge, so ordered on this 17th day of July 2024.
Now, this one raggedy ass case, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. So a lot of y'all were blowing my inbox up and stuff like that, and like, Seti Nash, where the video at? Where the video at? Where the video at? Bruh, I'm getting back to the old Seti Nash. So for the new visionaries, y'all don't know me. For the old ones, they like, this the dude that we subscribe to. So with furthermore apologies to all of y'all, because I got a message in my inbox that was, when I posted on academic stuff, like, she might be recused, and dude said, you just be talking, but he subscribed to me. So I jumped in his inbox, and I was going to go off on him, but I just decided to say, you know what, I'm going to deal with the facts, and I'll let y'all have a feeling towards you, whether you like what was said or don't like what was said, and take myself out of it. So I'm just about to get back to that, and this is how we gonna ride. New judge, will she be recused? Because check this out.
Exclusive, baby! Join criminal defense leaders to re-elect Judge Paige Reese Whitaker, hosted by David Botts, Jeff Brickman, Amanda Clark Palmer, Kim Cornwell, Ed Garland, Bruce Harvey, Bill Hill, Stephen Katz, Noah Pines, Renee Rockwell, Don Samuel, Brian Steele, David Wolf, Monday, April 25th, 2022, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Kevin Rothbaum State, I don't know what the hell that is, but whatever. 154 Krog Street, Northeast, Suite 200, Atlanta, Georgia, 30307. 101 suggested donation to attend. RSVP to info@keepjudgewhitaker.com. Judge Whitaker, because if you can shake your bottom, she can shake that gravel. Let's do it. Elect Judge Whitaker. Justice for the people. Slatty, slat, 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 slat. Trapaholics, nigga.
Now, at first, it was like, oh, snap, damn. But then we remember earlier in the month, when the other Judge Krause said, I ain't going nowhere just because money got donated to Glenville. And it's funny because what ultimately tried to get Krause kicked off just saved Brian Steele and everybody else. Remember this?
Now, if y'all remember, the judge who decided to say she ain't going nowhere says, this case was randomly assigned to the court. Consider certain motions to recuse Judge Glenville from further proceedings. In this case, on July 8, 2024, defendant Jeffrey Williams filed a supplement motion to recuse Judge Glenville. Through title supplement, a portion of the filing seeks to recuse this court from hearing the recusal motions. This court, therefore, must consider the portion of the supplement seeking the court's refusal before proceeding further. USCR 25.3. When a judge assigned to the case is presented with a recusal motion and accompanying affidavit, the judge shall temporarily cease to act upon the merits of the matter and determine immediately, 1, whether the motion is timely, 2, whether the affidavit is legally sufficient, and 3, whether the affidavit sets forth facts that, if proved, would warrant the assigned judge's recusal from the case. If all 3 criteria are met, another judge shall be assigned to hear the motion to recuse. Well, check this out. Assessing whether these 3 criteria are met does not involve an exercise of discretion by the judge whose recusal is sought, but is a question of law to be determined by assigned judge. Defendant Williams' motion footnote 2 and later lengthy paragraph 52 asserts 2 bases for recusal of this court. Defendant Williams asserts that recusal is merited because of a $2,000 donation made by Judge Glenville to this court's recent re-election campaign. Defendant Williams also asserts that recusal is required because it is appropriate for any judge to preside in any action where one of the parties holds a judicial office in any other court which sits in the court's circuit, the same circuit. Defendant Williams' supplement seeking to recuse this court is supported by the affidavit, albeit only footnote 1 in paragraph 63. As to this court, it was filed within 5 days of this court being assigned to handle the case. Therefore, the first 2 criteria are satisfied, and the only consideration for the court is whether Judge Glenville's campaign donation to this court's re-election campaign warrants recusal. The Georgia Supreme Court has held that the mere fact of a campaign contribution to a judge, even from a party to the case, does not warrant recusal, where the contribution was not exceptionally large. Gold versus State, 289, Georgia 46-48, 2001. See also Woodham versus Atlanta. And basically alarming denial a recusal motion based in part on a campaign contribution from one of the judge's colleagues on the court who had recused from the case. Now, check this out. Allegations of unexceptional campaign contributions or commonplace support during a judge's election campaign ordinarily are sufficient to require referring a recusal motion for reassignment to another judge. The Code of Judicial Conduct reiterates this point, noting that when a campaign contribution is less than the maximum allowable contribution permitted by law, an affidavit seeking recusal must allege additional facts demonstrating the need for recusal. See GARCJC Rule 2.1 Commentary. In summary, Rule 2.11A4 provides that one, if contributions made to a judicial candidate or to that candidate's campaign committee are permitted by law and do not exceed the maximum allowable contribution, then there is no mandatory requirement for the judge recuse. Because under Georgia law, the asserted campaign contribution will not warrant recusal, and defendant Kendrick has not alleged any additional facts demonstrating the need for recusal. He has not met the third criteria for recusal. Defendant Williams' additional assertion of Judicial Qualification Commission opinion 220 in support of this motion is unavailing for two important reasons. First, Judge Glenville is neither a party nor counsel in the criminal prosecution, nor is this a mandamus action, and defendant Williams cannot make it so by filing a recusal motion. So, opinion 220's conclusion that a judge should not preside in an action where one of the parties holds a judicial office and the same circuit does not apply to the circumstances. Second, and perhaps most importantly, defendant Williams' motions ignores the clear directive of Uniform Superior Court Rule 25.4. That rule directs that in a multi-judge circuit like Atlanta Judicial Circuit, a recusal motion shall be assigned for hearing to another judge, and the selection shall be made by use of the circuit's existing random and partial case assignment method, USCR 25.4. This court does not rest the task to which it has been assigned, but it is as much the duty of a judge not to grant the motion to recuse when the motion is legally insufficient as it is to recuse when the motion is meritorious. Jones, I don't even know. I can't even see that real quick. But for the foregoing reasons, the portion of defendant Williams' supplement and amended supplement seeking to recuse this court is hereby denied. It is so ordered on this 9th day of July 2024.
Now, I'm not about to say something so sinister, but I could. So for the sinister ones, this one's for you. If you are sinister about the judge and Brian Steele and stuff, and you like, bro, what the hell? Brian Steele might have known it was a possibility that this judge could get on there. He just donated to her last year. You could say that. You 100% can say that. But there was a lawyer out of Texas who basically said, we do this crap all the time. He wrote on Thugger Daily's page. Check this out.
From a lawyer that wrote on Thugger Daily's page says, fundraising events create relationships and trust. It allows the lawyers to learn more about how the judge views cases and procedure, but more importantly, it allows the lawyer to understand what the judge understands and how to effectively communicate with that judge. I would often discuss hypotheticals with these judges and learn how they will deal with specific legal issue and how they prefer evidence to be presented and handled. If you are a lawyer and you walk into a court and the judge doesn't know your first name, you're already well behind.
For the sinister ones, it is possible. Yeah, it's very possible because of the amount, but you know, they're saying $101 donation campaign contributions and all of this stuff to kind of get to know the judge and how she rules. Now, that is manipulation, but I told y'all, this is just me being an outside observer. I would like it myself if I'm on the defense. If I'm on the prosecution, hell nah. So if roles were reversed, a lot of y'all be saying what a lot of y'all said. So please, 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 please check your bias at the door. That's all I'm going to say. I ain't going to tell y'all you're wrong or anything like that. You're trying to see Thug get a fair trial, as we are. But I can tell you, because I do have a bias towards Young Thug, I'm going to be basically saying this. Celebrate good times, come on. What? Man, these cats do this all the time, bro. I do believe, and this is probably going to come off like what? I believe Judge Ingram actually was going to do a fantastic job. And here's the reason why I say that. I believe this. She just recused herself, but she didn't even have to. Nobody inquired behind it, anything like that. She was doing her due diligence because what happened was Miss Love basically emailed her like, hey, can we speed this up? Can we get back to court next week? And there was nothing holding her back from getting it done for next week. So there's that. I think fraudulent, funky, Fulton County might be for a rude awakening, bro. I'm going to be honest. Because this right here is now a blueprint. You might call it the still effect or still satisfaction or whatever you might want to call it. The still schematic. That sounds way better. Pardon me. Let me strike that. The still schematic says, get the judge that you don't like so pissed off they would do something so stupid to get their own selves kicked off. And then let's see if we can get a judge of our liking. And that's what I believe ultimately just happened. Do I think Young Thug stands a better chance now? I do. I'm going to do some digging and some history and some research into this judge because everything that glitters ain't gold. But the fact that Steele and Harvey, y'all know the guy with the long white hair and stuff like that, he even has what's called a Harvey rule. He's actually a legend in Atlanta. Basically, bro, if they're endorsing her, the visionaries are endorsing her. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Subscribe to the little bell, stay notified. And if you have subscribed, bro, and you just not subscribing or you resubscribing, like, all right, Nash, I forgive you, bro. I appreciate you all for the visionaries who stayed, whether you were in support of my positions in the past couple of weeks or not in support. I appreciate you all. I really do. I know people been saying little stuff in here's and there's, but we've been going up in the subscribers. I am not above the law here. Y'all help create this channel. Yes, you individually who has subscribed. Even if you didn't subscribe, if you're just watching, you have contributed to this channel. And I had to take into effect, this was built by the people. It can be burned down by the people. But to the crew, that's the truth. With the visionaries. I'll catch you on the next one.